How it was, but okay, whatever. Okay, welcome guys. This is our first episode of Better Globally. Today is a very special day. It's our first episode, first of all, and we got Eduardo Moya here, Chief Marketing Officer of Heyday Marketing, which is the best marketing agency in Miami, located in Coral Gables. We're in their cute, charming office right here in Gables. So yeah, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you for coming to the office.
My pleasure.
What do we got on deck for today?
All right, so I just want to help our viewers get to know you a little better because I already know you.
Yep.
And you have accomplished something that is like very notable. So let's start with the beginning. Like, how did it start? Maybe what was your first job, your first business?
All right, so this was some time ago. Thank you for, seeing me in that light. Believe it or not, I don't see myself like that for whatever reason. It is humbling at the same time, and I still feel like I have a long way to go. But on that note, I think it started like everything else, and it was just on a whim. I started off at 14 years old. Started my first job, which was actually in Dandy Bear in West Kendall. A lot of my friends know that. And I was going to middle school and I just started working. My sister came home one day and she said, "Listen, you want to get to work? They're looking for somebody for the weekend." I said, "Sure." And then I started saving up money and I started learning the appreciation of money and how much it costs, getting paid $6 an hour. I did that for 4 years. I was able to save enough money to buy my car. And throughout that little process towards the end, I had a daughter and I was able to pay some child support. After that, I kind of went into a sales, company, where they sold timeshares. I was there for 4 years as well too, and I learned a lot of leadership skills and selling and marketing. And then kind of just jumped into medical field, diagnostic center, going door to door. I would go speak to doctors all day long, and I kind of learned how to present in person. Then from there, I went to a telecom tech company, which I learned all the back end stuff, how to create websites, actual systems, CRMs, and all that stuff. And I had a call center in Venezuela with like 45 employees. And I've always said that all of my jobs from one point to another kind of molded me for what I'm doing today. With the original one, it created the foundation and the value of money. With my second job, it sharpened my skills on sales and leadership. My third, with the diagnostic center, sharpened my skills on in-person presentation and talking to people who are older than me. I wasn't afraid of that. With my fourth, it kind of like molded me on the technological side, where I learned back end and what I was saying earlier. And then you come here to marketing with what it is today, with social media and websites and CRMs and ad campaigns and all that stuff. And you kind of just have this pot of all these skills I've learned. It took me about 12 years. Mixing in that needed to be fine-tuned, and here we are.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, all the experiences eventually like shape who you are, and I think marketing is like a very broad field, and knowing marketing itself is probably not enough, especially if you want to be like a leader in a company, which you definitely are. I want to, for the viewers that may not really know what timeshares is, I remember you telling me this story, and I think it's pretty interesting. So if you could maybe
I'll make it quick. So pretty much a timeshare is, what you hear about all the time in South America, Central America. In this case, it was in Mexico. And the sales strategy that they use is to the T to get you to buy something. Like, they have thought about everything in advance before you're even considering it. So the process is pretty simple. You start with something at a very high price point with little value, and you go mixing it and matching it, right? So then as you're negotiating with the person right there on the beach in front of the unit they would potentially be buying, you start a studio unit at $100,000 and you start with 1 week a year, and then you go adding value to it and you go lowering the price. It gets to a point that the person feels like you've worked so much for them that they can't say no. So you end up paying the regular price. It was about $25,000 for what you would have originally gotten if they would have pitched it to you from the beginning, which is 2 weeks a year, plus some other perks and benefits that they get. And they would close people all day long. So that's not my preferred way of so to speak, selling. I really don't feel like I sell anything. I feel like we just help people. And we make money as we go. So it's not something that I was very proud of at the time. It's not something that I liked, but it was very interesting to see how people reacted to you getting something for them done when they thought it wasn't possible. And you come back to the table and say, listen, I was able to lower the price. What now? No, I need another week. Let me go talk to my manager. I got you 2 more weeks. What now? So they put you in a very awkward scenario for you to say yes.
How old were you back then when you were doing this job?
I was 16, 17, 18, 19.
And how did it feel to I feel like you were selling something in such a big price point, especially for this age. Were you uncomfortable with the numbers, or how did you feel about it? Because usually when people start in sales, this is $1,500, maybe $2,000. But what you were doing is basically selling stuff that was $25K or even more.
Yeah, there's a very big difference because I was put into a system that was already selling that. So when you're being put into a system, it's easy. You just read the guidelines and you add your sauce to it. When you're going off on your own, it's very different. You start off at a lower price point or whatever the case is. And that's something. I've always been a very systemic person. I work very well in teams, and I work, I played, high school football, and, I love organized sports. At one point I was going to go to the military just because I am a person that I bond and I like the camaraderie and I fit perfectly into systems. Creating your own path is much harder, doing stuff that no one's ever done, or in this case, I never knew nothing about a marketing agency. And there was a lot of errors on the way that, you look back and you said, I should have listened to that person, or I should have done this some other way. But sometimes I think just, blowing cash and making mistakes is the only way to learn. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe some other people can learn from this. But it's not easy, and I think you just kind of you start understanding your value, more and more and more, and you start seeing the results you're getting, and you start noticing that you're actually helping people, and then you start seeing how much time you're investing into it and saying, okay, I need to get compensated more for this, or not even so much that you want to get compensated more, you just want to grow your team or get to another level, so you need to start adjusting your prices.
Another question I have is, you went basically into a sales job, and sales job is probably one of the jobs that can make you a lot of money because you basically get paid for your results on commission based. So was this something that you were considering before even applying for this job, that you wanted to, okay, I want to make a lot of money, I'm going to go into sales because this is where money is? I can really go off of an hourly rate, let's say.
No, not necessarily. It might sound crazy, I was never a money motivated person. It's never been something that, I think it just happens. I've always been very results driven. So, I just like the pat on the back. I like seeing everybody around me do good. I like seeing, in this case, clients do well. I'm very competitive. So when you put me in a sales environment, naturally you want to be better than everybody else. Yeah, so I was always top 3 in sales. And I think that drove me more than the money. It was just all right, I'm good at this. I got the skills. I like it. It's cool. I can talk. People, they get along with me. So it just kind of just happened to, just kind of the glue was just there. I've seen other people who are very great salesmen, but they just don't have the consciousness of, not screwing people over. And that's kind of what separates me. I don't want to screw anybody over. I would rather lose money and make sure that someone is happy than make money and then they go and, they're not satisfied. For whatever reason, that's just the way I've always liked to structure myself. I feel like it's very important to be a man of your word. I'm not a perfect person by any way, shape, or form, but I do, strive to do good by what I say.
Makes sense. So Heyday has been founded in 2015, so it's been 8 years. And I feel like for a lot of businesses, especially digital marketing agencies, this is like a long time, because so many people want to start social marketing agency that basically like, they either don't get clients, so they stop, or they get clients, but like then just stop because, I don't know, it's not a viable model for them. And you guys have been around for over 8 years. So what I'm interested in is like, how did the stages of growing Heyday look like? Because I'm sure not everything was that good as it is now from the beginning, and it went through, its own ups and downs. So if you could tell a story about how did that go?
Sure. So the worst thing you could ever do is open a marketing agency. I'd probably start from there. It's a lot of stress. I mean, just think about it. People are paying you to make them money. People are paying you to bring people through their doors. There's no secret formula. There's no magic pill. It's just, trial and error and learning and understanding your audience and all that other fun stuff. I can get into the weeds of that later. From the agency perspective, I think the most important thing you can do is have good people around you, good staff around you, and have a great team. It took me a while to understand that. Before, we used to just, in the beginning, hire, the cousin's friend or the guy that just graduated, and it was just like to fill a hole in. And yeah, sure, let's go. And, I'm a very trusting person. And, we went with it. Not a good process. You really need to vet your people, make sure you're putting the right people around you. That would take you a long way. And I noticed that as we opened up our internship program, and I noticed that we were getting good talent. And whenever we had a good talent, it would just take the agency to another level. So that, okay, there's something here. So I made it a focus of bringing good people on board and, stopping from our previous way of the way we used to try to hire people. From a client's point of view, I mean, we had an office in a second floor of a dealership. I avoided in every way, shape, or form for someone coming to the office. I didn't want nobody to come to the office. There was homeless in the parking lot. It wasn't like a place you wanted to be in. So I always made it a point to go to clients' offices, and then from there we moved 2 more times after that until we finally had our nice office in the Gables area, and it just changes the whole dynamic. We still provide the same quality work, the same customer service. We're just much more seasoned, we're smarter, we have more network, we have a bigger resource pool, and we still like to guarantee our work. The hardest thing is scaling. Finding clients is easy. Finding employees is extremely difficult. Finding good employees, it's much harder. Keeping them here, people like our environment. It's fun. We treat each other like family, but it is a lot of work, and you get grinded down. There's always ups and downs, and I think to what I personally like is that I love the journey. There's no real destination. Even from before, I was like, we do this, and we mess up. Fuck it. We had time. We have fun with this. It is what it is, and we go our own ways. And if it does well, then it does well. Great. It was. I've always been a very risk adverse person, a very carefree person. So I think that kind of go hand in hand with my leadership skills or model here. I think that would be that.
Yeah, I think. Honestly, I also had experience in running a digital marketing agency, and I know how this model works more or less. And I think this is like one of the biggest struggles when it comes to scaling the agency, because getting clients is actually not that hard. But like once you start getting clients, if you do it on your own, it's like hard to handle it at some point. So you have to hire a team, and hiring a team is very problematic because you can someone that you hire and they are not good for the job, they basically are losing you money actually instead of making it. So I think this is one of the disadvantages.
I would say it's kind of like what comes first, the chicken or the egg. So What do you do first? Do you load up on good staff and good employees, or do you wait to get big clients to then get your staff and employees? Or do you get cash flow to then get staff? So it's kind of like you have to bet on yourself at one point, And that's what we did. We just bet on ourselves. That was it. I said, listen, we're going to do this. And I go back. If we fail, we had fun with it. And if not, we'll see where this goes.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question is, what do you believe is the number one skill that helped you achieve the success that you achieved so far? And is it also like one of the things that you just mentioned, that being like the very, very carefree, being very risk averse, adverse?
So that's like that's a double-edged sword, you know.
Yeah.
It's burned me many times, and it's helped me many times. So you know, I wouldn't recommend to be like that, you know. And if you are like that, you need to have a balance. And I recommend having someone by your side that can, you know, balance you out. Because sometimes you make really bad decisions, and then other times you make really, you know, lucky decisions. I've always been a very lucky person, and I think people say, you know, what is luck? And I think it's just, you know, when opportunity meets preparation. And then that's what people call luck. So I put myself in position. What's helped me scale is 100% networking. People want to see you out there. People have been accustomed to, you know, social media and the digital world, but that will never replace a personal relationship, a face-to-face relationship. So I've always made it a point to be available, see people face-to-face, go visit someone's business, bring them over here, create a relationship with them. That's probably my number one advice. The other thing is get good people around you. I know I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I started with the intern program. So I went to FIU, went to Miami Ad School, went to Miami-Dade, found out how to, start the process, found out what I got to do, sign up the agency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we started getting, internships. I also did very good SEO on our website for interns. So when you look up internships in Miami, internships for designers, internships for copywriters,
it's going to come up.
We're one of the first ones that pop up. People don't think like that. And that's helped us, you get to go and see what type of talent you have.
All right. My next question is, did you go to college?
Oh, I did go to college.
Sorry, yeah. I want to think my bad.
I did go to college. You want to ask it again, or you're good?
No.
Okay. So I did go to college. Okay. I changed my major twice.
From what were the majors?
I started off with
you look like arts kind
marketing.
of guy.
Huh?
You look like arts kind of guy.
I liked art when I was like in elementary school, but I started off with marketing, believe it or not. I started taking a couple classes. This was back in 2008. And then I just said, this is common sense stuff. This is not something here. I was kind of like, I kind of knew this. And I'm a very impatient person. I like to see things fast. I like to see results fast. That's just, again, that could help. That could not help. And then I switched my major. I had a macro and microeconomics class. I had a good teacher there, David Mahome. He's still on Facebook. And I see him. He's actually a pretty cool guy. And then I enjoyed economics a lot through that class, and I switched it to economics. And then I said, okay, I'm not a numbers guy. So this is like, once it got deeper, I was like, I'm out. And then I ended up, through a friend of mine, getting into real estate. I switched to real estate. My third time, and after a while I got my license. I got to a point that I was selling 15 homes and properties a year, and I just said, okay, forget this, and I just went off and I didn't finish college. So I just, kind of like, it was like a flowy situation. I would recommend for everyone to finish college. I think it's very good. Not everybody, has, I guess, the luck of meeting the people that I've met. And just kind of like, I just felt like my time was better invested into growing something than continuing to learn and learn and learn.
Okay. So do you believe that it is necessary for someone to succeed in marketing industry to go to college, or do you think it's better to actually go and do it in real life, like practice it instead of just learning it in school? Because honestly, from my experience, I took already a couple marketing classes after having some experience in marketing, and honestly, like marketing from the book, which is what teachers teach, is completely different than what you learn in real life, and most of the stuff that is in the book is like outdated, and like that's not
Correct.
how stuff works.
Yeah, I think marketing is a very specific industry where it is extremely dynamic. Very dynamic.
Yeah.
So every month there's a new platform, there's a new algorithm, there's a new system. These tools and these books, as you said, are a little outdated. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't learn fundamentals from it. I think it just depends on the person. If you're a self-starter and self-motivator, then you should be good. And I seek knowledge despite, me, dropping out of college. I still seek knowledge. I'll read books. I listen to podcasts all the time. I actually like to learn stuff. I enjoy learning, to be honest with you. I just think everybody has their own way. There's no right or wrong answer to that.
All right, makes sense. All right, so you're as a leader in the marketing agency, you get to work directly with many businesses, probably in the hundreds already. So what do you see a lot of businesses doing wrong that is like stopping them from growing based on your experience?
I think every business, depending on the level of the business, I don't want to say they're doing something wrong. I just think they may not know that they're doing something wrong. I think that the number one problem that I see is that there's no clear goals. Although it sounds very cliche, most people don't know what they want. Unless it's like a typical e-commerce that they say, I just want to increase sales. They don't know what they want. We like to, kind of hold you by the hand and explain to you and tell you this and this is the way that things should be. I think having an internal marketing person is extremely important that can connect, in this case, with an agency. I think a lot of businesses just kind of slide that to somebody else. I think the number one issue that I see is that they may not see marketing as an investment. They see marketing as a cost. I'm usually talking about here middle to lower size businesses. The big businesses that they know this is an investment and they know they need it have, different problems, and they have the staff inside. They just don't know what to do. And a lot of times you have these big companies with all these resources that they want to throw all over the place. And believe it or not, those are the ones that you see the most lost, and they have no idea what to do or where to start. They just want to do something. So there's big opportunity there,
Also, I noticed that you already said it too, that you're not really money-driven person. And I noticed by talking to you and just spending time with you that you're in a mindset that you always want to like help people. So where this mindset of constant help came from?
I think a lot of people have helped me along my path in life. So it's like a way of reciprocating it. That's the short answer. It's not, I don't do it because it makes me feel good. I really do it just because it comes naturally, It's just something that I just, do. And I don't expect anything in return. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm helping, the world or anything either. It's not like I'm, Mother Teresa. But I just, if I see someone that needs something around me and someone that I can help, and, it is what it is, I'll go out of my way to help them. And I enjoy it, and I think that comes from people going out of their way to help me, and they've done that a lot in my life. And I'm very appreciative for that. I just kind of like a way of, passing it forward.
I mean, maybe you're not Mother Teresa, maybe you're not going to change the world, but like you got to start somewhere. And I think you already made a pretty significant impact when it comes to our local community here in Miami. So my next question is, what's your number one advice for people that want to start their career in the marketing industry? Maybe work at Heyday, maybe start their own agency?
No, I would say my number one advice is work. And I learned this, it took me a while, work on your personal brand. Work on your personal brand, feel confident with yourself, get some easy wins. Once you do that, grows credibility. You believe in yourself more. You have something to kind of like lean on. I would probably start there because it separates you from the other, that's just kind of like, passerbyers, that just kind of just going through the motion, just trying to make a quick buck. Once you realize how hard it is to work on your personal brand and do something and get a couple quick wins, you appreciate the work it takes to be able to put in, and you value the money that someone gives you to get them results.
But how would you say, what is one of the best ways to build personal brand? Where should people start? Well, like what should they do actually? Because this is like pretty vague. Just start personal brand.
Yeah. So read up, take some interviews, go on a podcast.
Go on Better Globally right here.
Yeah, come on a podcast. Go to networking events. And make sure people recognize you. Take an internship if you're young. Go. Make sure you make noise in the industry. That people working on your personal brand doesn't necessarily mean opening a YouTube channel. It just means make sure that people are becoming aware of you within your community. Go to give back events. Go to nonprofit events. Go to the chambers, become a part of the chambers of events, and try to do a speaking course. Work on your personal skills that you can use down the line. Run a paid media campaign for you on social media, do a 5-step video progress of how to do. That's where my mind would be at. I would have started there because that lays the foundation for you down the line. I started a little different. I started great. Straight. Going for clients.
Yeah. So you mentioned skills, and I think this is pretty important because I feel like a lot of people get it wrong, especially my peers, people around the same age. What skills do you think are necessary to succeed in business, in life in general, and like what maybe people should start with to actually, because you can be valuable to the marketplace if you're not providing any value, and to provide some kind of value, you need to have a skill. So what do you think is like most important?
I think the most important thing in this day and age right now is being available. I don't know if that's considered a skill or not. Being a person of your word. When you say you're going to do something, get it done. Being transparent is extremely important in this world, in this industry. And having good intentions. I think, I don't know if those are skills. But besides that, if you want like an actual skill, being data savvy, very important. All the tools out there that you can learn, from the Facebook ads manager to the Google ads, all that stuff is extremely important. You need to know a little bit of everything, if you want to be a leader here, because, you can, support your team around you. Eventually you end up hiring professionals and they teach you. But I would start with that.
Okay, so my next question is more about Heyday. So recently Heyday was ranked as 917th on the ranking of fastest growing private companies in America by Inc. 5000, or just Inc. So not a lot of agencies are able to achieve success like that. So what do you think separates Heyday from other agencies that allows Heyday to basically grow at such a fast pace and such a fast rate?
Yeah, so we were awarded 914th place out of 5,000 companies, over 5,000 that applied, but 5,000 that got selected for 2022 Inc. 5000 award. I think, I ask myself the question all the time, what makes us different than the agency across the street? And sometimes it's hard for me to, distinguish that. But I think I figured it out in the last year and a half. And from what I see and I hear all these horror stories of other companies coming to us, number one, customer service. It may not seem like a big difference, but it's a big difference. People like to be taken care of. People like to see that you're in there for them, that you're there day to day and you're available. Customer service is number one. We hear agencies all the time. They don't respond to you. They don't pick up the phone. They don't call you back. They take 3 days to do a design. That's not us. Our people here will get back to you within an hour. Okay. Number two, being results oriented. Before we bring any client in, we do a legit analysis with our digital team, with our social team, and make sure that we feel comfortable giving you results. If we don't feel comfortable giving you results, we'll either make you aware of that and have a meeting of the minds where you say, okay, this is a trial run or this is a test, and we're both okay with that. Or we say flat out, listen, this is not something that we see happening. This is not a viable product, and we don't feel comfortable being able to provide you results for the investment that you're going to make. That's the way we handle stuff here. And that's what I think has gotten us to, that point.
Okay, makes sense. And what would you say? You already had a pretty long career. You said you started working at 14. How old are you now? 36?
About to turn 35 this Friday.
35. Wow. Okay, so
the birthday podcast right now.
Maybe it will be released on your birthday. We'll see. So it's been 25 years that you're basically working, and you already, you were building up your character, building up your leadership skills and everything. So what would you say was one of the biggest challenges for you coming up to this point?
That's a very good question. I haven't been asked that before. My biggest challenge, you know what? My biggest challenge that I know is consistency, and that's what I struggle with. A lot of times, when you feel so good that you're just on a roll, doing everything well, everything's moving, everything's looking good, then that camera's off.
All right, let's keep going. So, consistency.
Right. So, consistency. Sometimes you're just riding high and you just kind of like, you kind of let go of the gas pedal a little bit and then you kind of come down. So my biggest struggle definitely is being consistent and finding a balance in my life.
What personality traits helped you to get where you are today?
Being a people person. I know that sounds very general, but just being a people person has definitely being a person that people can talk to easily, and you come off and you are honest and transparent and just kind of like you genuinely care and want to listen to people. That's definitely helped me the most. Okay.
Where do you see Heyday in 5 years, or what do you think is the end goal, if there's any?
Yeah, so I think everybody has an end goal. Ideally, want to grow this, continue growing it beyond 5 years. I see us getting into different departments, getting into different avenues. There's a lot of nice stuff happening with AI. There's a lot of nice stuff happening. Technology is changing all the time. So continuing to just become more diverse. We have a big angle with the Hispanic market, and we're working on some nice stuff with the government. So that's kind of like where our head is right now.
What are you excited the most about in the near future?
What am I excited the most about in the near future? I mean, I'm excited every day. It doesn't really take much to get me going. I'm happy waking up every day. Just happy that we have the opportunity to continue doing what we do and that we're able to help others on our way.
Okay, and when you think about something that may seem kind of far and more in a distant future, what gets you excited when it comes to that?
I think what gets me excited is knowing how far we've come. So in those cases, I'm not a person that, I don't get overly excited with scenarios, and I don't show my emotions much. I'm pretty just in the middle. But when I see how far we've come, even though I do put a lot of pressure on myself to get better, I do get excited to seeing, give me another 5 years, 3 years, where would we be? And if I can become a better person, a better leader, a better father, a better husband, a better friend, how much further can this really go?
All right. Let's say hypothetically, you never joined Heyday, you never worked here. What do you think you would be doing if this never happened?
I'd probably be a CMO somewhere else, 100%. I've gotten offers before. From local big companies. I've gotten offers from Europe. I'd probably be doing something like this some way, somehow. I just feel it inside of me. I know. And I get offers all the time through LinkedIn and Indeed for me to go off with somebody else. But, until the wheels fall off is what I say.
Okay. Do you believe money buys happiness?
Negative. I've been very, 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 very a lot of money in debt, and I've been super happy. And I've had a lot of money in the bank and just still super happy, but it doesn't really make a difference. It's just a tool. It's just for fun. It's what you make of it. I can live on the bridge and be happy. It's not a big deal. I think it's what you make of it.
Well, why do you think you could be broke? You could live under the bridge and still be happy?
Because I'll find a way to be happy. Just waking up, for me, it makes me happy. So I'll go play basketball down the block on the beach, and do my thing. Go take a shower after.
Play some pickup games somewhere.
I'll be cool with that.
That's enough.
That's enough for me. Just the way I've always seen life is like that.
All right, yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty, very good view on life, because a lot of people just chase materialistic things, which then once they get there, if they ever get there, they realize, oh, this is not what happiness looks like.
You want more. That's what happens. It's happened to me. You get somewhere and you want more, and you get somewhere and you want more, and you get somewhere and you want more. And you don't get to enjoy it, until you look back and you're like, wow, this has been pretty cool.
Yeah, I also think a lot of people are getting it wrong because it's like all about the journey. It's not about the end destination. Like you need to enjoy the journey, and then the destination, whatever goals you have, it will just taste better.
Yeah, it does. And honestly, it doesn't last long. If you're that type of person, once you get there, you're going to enjoy it for 10, 15 minutes, a day or 2 days or a week or a month. And you're just going to say, okay, what's next? So you're never going to be fulfilled. You're always going for more. You're always going for more. You're always going for more. And I think that's it's a slippery slope,
What advice would you give to 18-year-old self?
A lot.
Okay, let's start with like couple.
Don't fuck up. No, I'm just playing. Man, there's a lot of advice I would tell myself.
I mean, I think fucking up is pretty important. Like that's how you learn, right?
It is. I would say just, trust the right people. I'd probably go from there. Believe in yourself, even though, again, I'm a pretty carefree person. And just let things happen, just don't rush, to get to the next level so fast, kind of enjoy what you're doing, enjoy what's going on around you. Yeah,
like Gary Vee says, just patience. Always it's about patience.
I'm not a patient person. I'm just not,
Yeah, me neither. But we gotta somehow get through it. What keeps you going every day? Like what gets you out of bed every morning with a smile on your face?
Probably my family, I'd say, just seeing them happy and what we have in the future going on, my daughter, my wife, my dog, being able to come here to a nice team, my coworkers, my friends. I think the love I have around me is what keeps me going,
All right, let's stop the success topic. Any failed ventures or like businesses that you started maybe like on the side that just didn't work out?
Yeah, we have a couple. I don't think they didn't work out. I just think I just stopped caring about them to focus on this, So with a real estate brokerage, kind of fell out, after the agency, I had to notice that I had to put more time into this. I couldn't do two things at once. I think that'd probably be the biggest failure. Other than that, I've never really tried to dabble into so many things like that either.
I'm a big believer that life-changing moments basically happen when something tragic or just something very bad happens in your life. So what would you say were some of your life-changing moments if you'd like to share it?
So I'd say number one, having a daughter at 17 years old is very shocking. That's something that you're like, okay, you got to kind of step up. And when I was 21, my parents passed away. So that kind of makes you a little bit more, independent. I would say definitely those two.
Are you happy?
I'm happy 100%. 100%.
No doubt.
No doubt. Can I be happier? Maybe. I mean, I'm sure I could.
What do you think would bring you more happiness?
Free time, I would say.
Yeah, that would be nice for sure.
More free time, more time to play. I'm a guy I'm a little kid. If you just let me play all day long, I'll play all day long. That's never left me.
That's funny. All right, I think this is my last question that relates to the whole purpose of the podcast. Better Globally is basically the art. We explore art of becoming better in every way. So how would you say how to become better globally in every way when it comes to life, relationships, business, how to live more happy and more meaningful life?
I would say 100% get involved in your community. It sounds very cliche again, and everyone talks about it. Get involved with your community. Actually help people around you. Do some volunteer work. Really go out of your way to see what's out there and actually, help people around you,
Okay. For anyone that wants to follow you, message you, ask you any questions, what's the best place to reach you? What's your Instagram or whatever you want to share?
Give me a phone call or text me directly at my phone number 305-224-2210. I try to pick up every call and response back.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today, Eduardo. Yeah, and for everyone that is listening, tune in to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you listen to. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.
A pleasure, man. Let's keep it going.